All right, everyone. I'm cold, so I'm going to put this on. We're going to go ahead and get started. Um, th- the information provided is for educational purposes, and it's not intended for medical advice or a substitute for medical advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. You should use this information. You should not use this information for diagnosing a health or fitness problem or disease. You should always consult with a doctor or other healthcare professional for medical advice or information about diagnosis and treatment. We don't claim to treat, diagnose, mitigate, prevent, or cure diseases. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the Rahm effect. Um, I do want, before we get into this, since my name is on this, I'd like to talk a little bit about me. I have gotten a lot of WhatsApps, a lot of emails, a lot of text, and different things asking about what's going on with me and asking if I'm still at Root and asking if I'm leaving Root. So here, I would like to tell everyone, and please pass this on to everyone you know. I know there will always be rumors. I mean, Patrick, we've dealt with this from the beginning. I got 3 texts this morning or 3 WhatsApps. I'm not leaving Root. I have 0 plans of leaving Root. We're not changing the model. I know people are worried because there was a major company in the United States that just shut down their distributors and they're selling direct. That's not what we're doing. Root is not just about me. It's not just about you. It's about a global movement, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually. I should start with spiritually, spiritually and physically, to really improve this world. Anything I do is to do that. I had I had some people say that they think I'm bebopping around, changing clothes, and that I'm a socialite. First of all, let me assure everyone I'm not a socialite. I have to say it would be really hard to be a socialite because when you're a socialite, you have to constantly be doing things to be dressed up and look good. And even though the pictures that I show, maybe they look like I have clothes on and I'm doing things, but that's because I'm representing Root. I go into meetings to go into UAE and successfully enter a market. Then I want you guys to know this. It takes a lot of work. Last time Ted Baker and I went there, and Patrick knows this, I can tell you, if you ever want to ask people my schedule, you can ask Patrick or Stephanie or Ted or Duquesne or Clayton. Every single thing I'm doing is with the overall goal of helping the Root community succeed. You may or may not know this, but when we started this world was at a crisis. It really was. It was even before the pandemic when all this was coming into play. We really understood that our economies were going to struggle, that stores were going to close, that our world was going to change. And so our goal was to develop markets in all these countries. And we've done something that is really unimaginable. Because to open a country, if you look at it from a business perspective, it cost a couple of $1 million to open a company. We have opened in almost 80 countries. We have websites right now that are being developed for India and UAE. So when you guys see me flying to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, opening companies, getting a visa so that we can have companies there, so that we can exchange products in a free zone, so we can ship, so we know their governments. That takes a lot of work. And when I go into those meetings, I can't wear a baseball hat and flip-flops. I'm going to say that again. When you go in to meet governments or regulatory or compliance or business people at a meeting, you can't wear a baseball hat and flip-flops as much as I would like to because I grew up on a farm. You can't do it. So I, as a female, have to go in and look presentable. And that even includes when we do this fashion. I'm not a fashion designer. I'm an engineer and a scientist. And in order for us to really grow visibility about environment and skin defense and protecting our bodies against the environment, so our spirits and so our physical being is okay, I had to make it look good because you don't get attention from the world by constantly not looking good. But when we go into those environments, we also go to the orphanages. We donate a lot of money. We donated millions of dollars to children and charity, environmental projects. In fact, I will leave tomorrow to go to a meeting in Italy. And even though there'll be two things there that are concerts that will be fun, we have some of the top leaders from around the world that are gathering for environmental purposes of sustainability and remediation and detoxification. So you guys see these great things on social media and everything I'm doing. It's exhausting. Do I get on these calls and complain to everyone? No. Why? Because that's not going to make you guys happy. It doesn't make me happy. And we should all be positive. But I have zero intention of leaving Root. My focus every day is Root. Am I still a mother? Yes. Am I still a daughter? Yes. Am I friends with Patrick? Yes. I still get to be me. I still get to sing. I still get to paint. I still get to call Priscilla if I want, or Astrid or anyone, and say, I love you. I'm a person, right? I'm not a robot. So I want everyone in this company to understand this. I am dedicated to this company. Every single thing I do, or Patrick Moen does, or Ted Baker, or Clayton Thomas, or Stephanie Folse, or the rest of us, it's dedicated to really Duquesne, Dylan, I could go on and on. It's dedicated to this company. And we do different types of marketing to make sure that we grow this. Company after company is closing right now because of the economy. We changed some things with the comp plan, and then we altered it again to make it better so you guys would be happy. We don't have any plans of getting rid of the ambassadors. We want to support you because our dream, our mission is to make the world a better place, and we can't do that without you all. But there's nothing, I'm not bebopping around, having fun, being a socialite. I hope I'm happy, though. It's okay if I'm happy. I mean, Priscilla, I think you want me happy. Like, it's okay. It's okay if I'm happy. Patrick wants me happy. I want him happy. But we really do work. We work about 100 hours a week for the Root community. So there's nothing happening that's not for Root. And I can't apologize that I'm not staying at home. I have stayed at home at different points when I've had 4 younger kids, and it was really hard. Staying home's hard. Doing what I'm doing and what you guys are doing is hard too. Traveling between time zones and not sleeping and working and running companies and doing formulas and doing patents and starting manufacturing, which is one of the things we're doing right now, which is why I go back and forth to South Carolina. We're building manufacturing, so we have our own manufacturing. So we do farm to table. We have a farm so we can grow things. So we're trying to do everything to support this community. And I really want you guys to know that it's not easy. It's not, I don't have the luxury of having a lot of free time. But I also love what I'm doing. I love working with you all. I love the fact that we're growing these companies together. And I have zero plans of changing. We have zero plans of getting rid of our model and having ambassadors. This is what we want. We want a team. I just did an interview that will be on television this morning. And they asked me again how I do it. And I said, I don't do it. There's a team of people all over the world that we work together, and there's a corporate office where we work strategically to build brand after brand so we can make this world a better place. The reason clothing was important was because of environment and skin defense. And also, in the end, we want to develop a full clothing line that will protect. The couture pieces are very expensive. We do understand not everyone can afford them. And don't feel obligated to buy them. Only buy them if you want. The last thing I ever want is anyone spending money or buying something they don't need. Please only use things that you really need. And let me use an example. Crush has helped so many people already. We get testimonial after testimonial after testimonial of how it's helping people. If you need peptides, and I think most of us do, if you need aminos, if you need to make sure your body is stronger. This is an amazing product that will change people's lives or help support their bodies. I don't know if the product changes lives, but it helps support the body to be as great and good as it can be. And that helps people be better human beings. Because our goal, guys, and I want you to know this, I strive every day to be a better human being. I fail constantly. I'm always saying I'm sorry. I get mad at myself before I go to sleep because I know I let people down. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy am I with the success of where we are? I'm a 2 because we have so much more to accomplish. But my goal is for every human being in this community to be the best they can be. And that looks different for all of us. If Elena wants to run a community and a healthcare center, I support that. If someone wants to be a life coach and a health coach, I support that. If someone wants to stay home or someone wants to travel throughout the world because they like to travel, I support that because we each are different. Don't look at someone and say, that looks easy. That looks beautiful. That looks like she's not working or he's not working. It simply isn't what we're here to do. We are here to be the best we can be. Mm-hmm. And I define just someone that's not loyal as someone that's not the best they can be, ultimately. You don't need to please me. You don't need to make me happy. You just need to be you. And I wanted to start off by saying that. I hope we put this up on YouTube because it's really important to me that the whole community hears this. I don't know where the rumors are coming from about me leaving. That has never crossed my mind. Not once, not one day. Do I think it's hard to do what we're doing together? Yeah, and I think it's hard for you all too. I think that when there was a cut at first on the comp plan, it was hard. I think when we changed it, it made it better. We're going to continue to make things better to support all of you so that you can have a better life. We listen. I talk to people. It doesn't matter if I meet with a prime minister or a president or a sheikh or the pope or whoever I'm meeting with that day. You guys take precedence. This corporate office and my children are more important than just the people that I'm meeting. The awards and the magazines that we are in are not us. They're just awards. And I say this all the time. You can't take an award to heaven. It doesn't mean anything, but I want you all to know it does raise visibility. So I was at a table in South Carolina with the CEO of a 5-system hospital, huge throughout the state of South Carolina. And actually, Patrick, also North Carolina. So I don't forget to tell you guys, he runs all the hospitals. He ordered Rahm roast while I was sitting there. Not that I asked him to, but he ordered Rahm roast for his hospitals. And then his wife is one of the largest functional med doctors in South Carolina. And she asked him if she could order it for her practices. I asked them how they knew about Rahm roast because I was there to talk about how we implement the Trinity into the hospital system. And I said, how do you know about Rahm roast? And there was 7 people at the table. They all followed my social media. And so here's what I'm going to say. My social media isn't in place to make me look great. My social media is there so that we can really make a difference in the world. The awards are for humanitarian services or scientific services or for this company succeeding. And I credit, again, this group and this community for that. I'm just the face of some of the things that happen. So please pass this along to people. When we go in to receive an award, and I want to say this last thing, Patrick goes with me or Ted or Clayton, we split up. It's too much for Clay to do all the travel. It's really a lot. It wears him out. He gets tired. And I do too, but I've done this kind of travel throughout my entire career. So we all split up. But when we go in to receive an award, that's 1/100th of that day. And I would love for Patrick to keep talking about this, and Ted and Clayton when I'm not here. We come in and usually we've slept for 2 or 3 hours and we have meetings from sometimes we get up at 4 a.m., sometimes we get at 6 a.m. and we don't go to bed till 1 or 2, and I'm not complaining. That's what we do. You see highlights of maybe the award that I received for this company for humanitarian services or science, or as a company, what you guys have done. But you don't see all the different meetings that go along with it. You don't see me crying because I'm tired. You don't see me crying when I call my son because he got engaged and I wasn't home. You just see a snapshot. So please make sure your communities know this. I spent hours on the phone over the weekend. Patrick knows this, and I think Patrick and Ted and Clayton are mad at me because they're like, Christina, why spend time on why are you paying attention to this? But I'm paying attention because it's the ambassadors and I care about you guys. Make sure you share that with your teams. I've been told that you can't see my heart anymore on social media or on the calls. Please, please tell Patrick or Ted or Clayton or me where I'm missing that because I haven't changed at all. In fact, if anything, I'm more humble than I used to be because we have so much more to do. And I feel the responsibility of making sure you all are okay and your families are okay. So that's all I want to say. But I want to make sure that I let you guys know that because I don't want to hear anymore that there's rumors that I'm leaving or that I don't represent Root. We're filing 33 additional patents. We have 100 patents to file. We have 33 we're filing now, and the attorneys can't keep up with it. And it's a slower process. We're filing those because of what you guys have done with case studies, whether it's autism or breast cancer or epilepsy or Alzheimer's. We're filing those, and I write those patents. I write the papers. So please understand, I have not slacked up. I have not stepped back. I have not changed anything. I really want to make sure you guys know this. I am a mother first. I'm a daughter, a friend, a wife, and a person that supports this community. So any of that gossip is from competitors or people that simply don't know me, and we need to stop that. All right, so let's move on, Patrick. I have a hard stop at around 12:35, but we're going to talk about the Rahm effect. The whole purpose of this app is to get you guys to have an ability to share Root with others. So anything that you think we need to change, I need you guys to weigh in. This app is something that we will continue to pivot and change till it gets to where we want. For example, I can't remember if it was Patrick or Ted that said this should be linked to a service where you can buy food. We hope to get there someday so that if Claire is in her country or Isabella is in her country and she wants to order food online, it's connected to this app. It's going to take us time, but we're working at really integrating the different pieces into this so that we have this. Patrick, another thing I'd love for you to share with the platinum and the silvers is the new link tree that Stephanie came up with, which goes over the publications and everything I've done. Because another thing you guys are gonna see us do is really driving things to the websites with things that I've done, because I can talk about my formulas. I can talk about the case studies. I can talk about those things. I want to make sure that you guys know this app, you want to have everything on it that you would have as a wish list for anyone that wanted to be interested in this company. Your goal is not to impress. Your goal is to change lives. That's all of our goals, and to have people really utilize what they can do to make their life a better place. At first, you may share this app with someone that never buys a Root product, but then later they might. If you catch that they bought a Root product, but they're not under your link, make sure you tell us and we'll correct it. We changed some of that because what was happening is we noticed how many customers we were losing a day because they wouldn't put the right link on it. So please always make sure you update either Ted or Patrick or Dylan or Duquesne if someone needs to be changed to be moved under your position, because we want to make sure that that happens. So in this app, it starts with a 30-day journey. And just so you guys know, we took the basically plan for Sculpt and Crush and changing people's lives so that they could look and feel better through this basically weight management workout system. We took that 30-day plan, we implemented it into this, and now we have the book that will be launched later in the year that will tell people, and it will have our products integrated into that book too. It's basically a year plan on how you can change your life. But when you do this, you first go in and you're filling out signing up. Can you go back to the sign up or signing in? And Patrick, do you have anything to add to this? Is there any way they can do this and do it wrong where it doesn't work? Because I've seen a lot of different text about it. So I would love your feedback here on this part.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is everyone on this call has a root account unless you're a brand new customer. So you would simply fill out your root login information to get access to the app. And if you are sharing this with somebody new, I think I've talked with the Detox Girls and Claire. What you would do is you would send them the app as a link, and then you can share with them your referral code because of the way that the website works and then the app works, there isn't a way to deep link the app so that it remembers the referral code. So it's just an extra touch point where you have to handhold the individual that you're introducing the app to. And that's one of the things that we can't change that, but it's just another touch point for you to introduce your customers to another access point like the Rahm Effect app.
Are there any questions? If you guys have a question about this part, can you raise your hand? That's what I want to do today, Patrick, because I want to hear. So Claire's saying it takes 20 minutes to log into this, Patrick.
So Claire, message me privately. That might be because whatever you're using to log in to remember your password. So message me on WhatsApp and I'll see if I can get that looked at.
If you guys have a new customer or friend, even if they're not using Root, that's having a hard time with this, please reach out to us. If you're having a problem with translation, please reach out to us because we want to make sure. Because remember, this is a beginning stage of this. So we really want to make sure that this will be a tool you guys can use later to get new customers. Let's go to the next slide on getting to know you. So I think this is important. This is a really interactive app. It was not easy to produce this. We're really trying to go into knowing the person and being able to help them based on what their goals are, how they work out, what their preference is from a diet. It's really important that we're doing this. So we're trying to focus on that. When you look at the workout level, if you don't know the answer for any of that, we have Dylan who works with us. He can answer some of the questions. So if there's any questions you guys have on workout level or meal preference or goals, Patrick can set you up with Dylan and he can go over some of this. He's a physical trainer and he went to school and that's what he studied, and he can go over this stuff as well. Of course, I can go over dietary preferences if you ever want me to do a Root U on what kind of diet is better for people. For example, I did go back and get certified at Cornell in this, and I am able to do a whole session on diet and our recipes and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, please text Patrick and me so that we can include that in a Root app. Let's go to the next slide.
Dr. Ram, I just wanted to touch base really quick, and I know we're on a time crunch. There is
Yeah.
no wrong answer on that last page, Tiger,
No.
if you go back. And I want everyone to understand that it's just an identification for the app to try and help guide you through, but it doesn't change anything in the app. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I selected beginner, but I'm really advanced, or I'm advanced and I selected beginner. That's okay. Just know that the next 30 days that you run through on the app, you can make that change.
Okay, I agree with you, Patrick. I've had a lot of questions about that because this is not like a trick question, trick question. This is really to support you all. And you could go back and change it, right?
Yep.
So you just need to understand that. The program, you guys, does provide an outline of meals, exercise, and mindful practices. I want to let you guys know the companies that have been successful in this space, whether it's skincare, nutraceuticals, clothing, pick a topic, it giving people a program, we've noticed, helps them stay on target. Sometimes they'll get off the program, but then they get back on it. So this is a useful tool, even though you may not need to use it because you already know all this information. This can be helpful if you do decide to use it. Clay, why don't you come and take over from me and here, because I'm going to have to leave, babe, and you and Patrick can help with this. It's also adjustable depending on the day-to-day schedule. So basically times can change, the framework can change. It's all really interactive, which is very hard to do in an app, but this one has it. Big compliment. I love hearing your positive feedback. I love the negative too, because it helps us be better, but I love the positive. I'm going to hand the rest of this over to Patrick and Ted. We've done this on the ambassador call. The reason we keep bringing this up is to make sure that you guys know so that it can be implemented.
Mhm.
Camera.
Do I look better on camera than I look better on camera than in person?
Kind
That's
of
what I
like
said,
in person.
which was not a compliment. That's a backhanded
It's
compliment.
Rahm reality, not virtual.
So listen, guys, I want to tell you thank you. I will be back on the next review. I have a star visitor with Priscilla on the next one, hopefully. And then I'm going to have, we're going to talk a little bit about lifestyle changes, autism, and accepting the good about change. And I want to explain this, and I want Priscilla to address this. Sometimes when things get better in people's lives, they become uncomfortable and they look for something to be negative. Our goal is to find the positive of change, of betterment in self, of greatness, and then to keep moving towards that and not to backslide and try to find something negative. So we will be speaking about positive attitudes and positive realization, Priscilla, on that call too, and spiritually aligning so that you can really be centered in having the best life possible. Ready?
Do you want your adjunct professor to?
Clay just said he's the adjunct professor. He's going to step in with Patrick.
Oh, I'm stepping in.
Hey, Christina,
Oh,
how can I help?
your phone's talking to you. All right. Wow, I don't ever get to be on Route U much. I'm your adjunct professor for the rest of the day. All right. Patrick, what else do we got to get into? We get to get into the app and
Yeah,
doing
so
some planning.
this next stage, and what I want everyone to know is really the calendar view is for you to just kind of really see where you're at. And as you can see here, where that green circle is partially around the one, it's just letting you know that you've completed some of the tasks on day number 1. And really when you're implementing your start date, so let's just say you log in on the app, you're setting up your account, logging in, identifying your diet restrictions, etc. You can set it so let's just say if you're doing it at night, you're going to start tomorrow. Or if you want to start, let's just say you're like, you know what, I want to have a bender this weekend. I'm going to go out and have fun. I'm doing a party or whatever. I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to go strong in the gym.
Uh-oh, we get to mute Bernie.
I got him. So that is an ability that also is evolving and changing and getting ready to be updated. But this is really so you can just identify when you want to start.
Now,
Now,
can we change our start date? Like if you start and then can you restart? And
that'll
then
be on the next round that I think they're working on currently right now. So I'm thinking 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks for that update to be executed.
well, there you go. So once you start, just keep going. Right? I think this is an important part when you put in your start date. Your I hate this term, your wellness journey or really your path to greatness is your own, right? So like Patrick was saying, you don't have to put your life on pause because you want to go have fun. That's actually part of the process. You know, the ability to enjoy yourself, and whether that's having a couple margaritas or going out with your friends and eating some food that's not on the list, those are the things that you earn by doing the things that you have as part of your plan. And that's an important part of life, right? Because if you do a lot of good stuff, you can do things that maybe aren't perceived as good for you, even though they make you feel good. Therefore, they are good for you.
Tiger, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So when you're looking at a day at a glance, this is just going to break down the products that are infused with that day and really what the day is going to entail. And so I actually don't like to look at my day at a glance. I like to look at it with the box check marks. so that I can look at and select and go through each time by time aspect of my day. But this is a way that you can go ahead, you can look at what the days to come, get yourself prepared. And to Dr. Ram's point, when she was talking about a grocery list, is that was something that I was really, I wanted to make sure for launch, and we just weren't able to execute it really like a grocery list or like a plan, because a lot of these meals have ingredients that maybe you might just not have in your cupboard or in your kitchen. And so really getting you set up so that you can prep for your 30-day regimen and really get prepared to know what's coming up. And that's why your day at a glance is really great, right? So whether you want to pre-make your oatmeal or maybe pre-make a smoothie and put it in the freezer, this is a way in which you can review what the day is. So maybe you can prep that night for your lunch for the next day.
And you're kind of the king for this because you are the food prep prince of the office.
I am psychotic. Okay, I still haven't even eaten my breakfast. Here's my breakfast.
I drink. See, this is the difference though. I drink my breakfast, right? And this will be the fun part of integrating, you know, as you share this app with, you know, people around you. And this is not a root app, by the way. This is something everybody should be using and can be using. And there's going to be some stuff that we integrate into this. But you know, as you talk to people, I had Tiger, I have to give Tiger props because I put a task on her yesterday to take a bottle of Relive Greens and just do a little shopping, you know, for groceries on what you can get in Relive Greens. Did you know that Relive Greens, even a small portion of those ingredients to give you what you get in a month's supply, is going to cost you over $450 right now? So you can spend less than $100 to get what would cost you over $450. And I think that's a good trade. So
This is a complete segue as well, but talking to that same point, Dylan and I were looking at the dosage protocols that Crush has. And I think we undervalued the dosage protocol because I'm still on my first bottle and I'm taking a little bit more than the third of the teaspoon, and Dylan had the same outcome. So he was going to go and measure to see how many actual
servings.
Servings are in the bottle. We think it's more than the 30 that we said. So just another aspect of just what you're saying about Relive Greens.
Well, I think that this is the fun part in our, you know, this being Root U for people from an educational standpoint. If you actually sat down and you took in the nutrient intake that you get with using a little bit of everything, right? Because my morning consists of coconut water with a lemon, and then Relive Greens, Give Me Back My Youth, Crush, Sculpt, Immune Defense Shield, Zero In, and Clean Slate and Restore. And I won't eat typically until dinner, right? So some people would call that intermittent fasting because all of those products don't actually break a fast, and you just got everything your body needed for the entire day all at once. But if I was training, which I'm going to start doing here shortly, it looks like, because my hamstring's better. Thank you, Crush, and a little bit of my own stem cells. The budgetary benefit that you're going to get from doing that is something that is absolutely crucial. And this is what you should show people. And these are the things that you should be talking about. If you understand that our environment is completely polluted and completely toxic, that means the produce that you're getting, wherever you're getting it from, even if you're growing it. Now, if you're growing it, you're going to have some stuff that might be a little better than most, depending upon your environment. Coffee doesn't break fast. Rahm roast is greatness. The money that you'll save puts money in your pocket. So people will look at what you're getting currently. They'll look at Clean Slate, they'll look at Restore, they'll look at Relive Greens and go, oh, this is going to cost me more. But when you actually step back and you go, well, I'm not going to need this, I'm not going to need that, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this, I can cut down on my produce consumption in the store, and you're going to get higher quality And just because you're not eating the volume doesn't mean you're not getting the quality. And this is one of the things that you'll be able to track, here is by changing your behaviors and tracking the changes in your behaviors, you can start looking at, oh, I took this and this. Well, this is giving me all the stuff I need, but you're not getting the bulk. You're not getting the trash of what, is typically, purchased from the store, or you're getting from different places. Then you can start designing the rest of your diet to meet other aspects of your lifestyle. And that's really the goal and the key of this is you can go off the basics, but when you start tying in, the rest of the routiverse into the lifestyle, you're going to start to see major changes. I can say I've done this personally, right? My experience with Sculpt and Crush, and granted, I've worked out once and since doing this, but now that it's been a couple months of continual use, and because of our trip to Mexico and catching whatever bug I got, I was forced to shift my consumption behavior, and I really focused on just taking what we have and then eating a little bit here and there. My body is reconfigured and it's outstanding, and I haven't done much yet. But when you make these tweaks and you make these changes from a dietary standpoint, that's when your body really, really will start to kick in and start making changes because you're not fighting against it. And just because you think you're eating healthy doesn't mean what you're eating is healthy.
Mhm.
That's crucial. What else do we got?
So, your daily agenda. So this is the view that I was talking about before. This is the one that I really like to look at, so that if you're having to go ahead and like meal prep, you can look at your day at a glance. So look also for the next update. I really wanted to tie in some of the next rounds of updates. Is that a lot of individuals were talking about like not a skip day, but really like a rest day, and they're already integrated into your 30-day program. And what we're doing is we're in the next version of the app, when we get it updated, is we're going to add in another one so that you can take a rest day. We all know that life gets away from us. I know Dr. Rahm and Clay has shared like what happened to me when I was at the beach for 4th of July. Like I got stung by a stingray, right? So I haven't been able to work out for quite some time. And so I've been just resting just to try and heal. We know that life happens. And so we want to give the opportunity so that you can push a day and take a rest. You can take that rest day because we all know how important it is to get proper rest. And so that is really a huge aspect for another portion of the next rollout. But you can see here to what we have on the display is that we've integrated the products in your day so that you can add or purchase those products, and everything is then connected to the back end of the website. So everything gets accounted for, everything gets followed up on, and also look for new products to be added to that. And I want to be very specific. We are not going to be adding the entire product library to the app. One, I think it's a lot. Two, we really want to focus on the products that integrate very well with the 30-day program. And so you're only going to see a subset of those products that are added that really work well, not only with a lot of what Dr. Rahm and Clay talk about from a wellness perspective, but really just helping you with your day, with getting the right food, getting the right nutrition into your body. And so you'll follow this as you go through, and I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to check those boxes as you go through your day. So the aspect of the library is really for you to get, one, the recipes. You're able to look at the products, look at all the products. You can view them. You can also tap the library for all your workouts. So I want all the ambassadors that are on the call to really look at this as how you can have the conversation with a new customer or a current customer, or maybe a customer that just hasn't been a customer for some time, and reignite the conversation. And I really loved what we had on the call for the ambassador call yesterday, where we had some conversations about, sending somebody the ability to create their account, their free account, so that they can have access to certain documents. I think that was Jill from the Detox Girls that said that. I love that. And I want the ambassador to consider. Okay, let me mute Olivia. I want the ambassadors to utilize that as an aspect of, this is another touch point. And we've said this, and I don't want to go too much into the marketing aspect, but giving you the ability to have not only the website, you can share your products with a referral link, with a deep link, you can share the in cart, you can share the app, you can really integrate multiple touch points with customers so that you are introducing them to all of the amazing things that Dr. Rahm is producing and putting out. And this is free.
What? Did you use the F word?
I did.
Man, who would give away so much value?
Yeah. And what I want everyone to understand too is that we still have the wellness program on the website. And I'm almost positive in the link tree, I'll have to double check, that it's still in a PDF format. So let's just say you have somebody that might not have a phone or doesn't want to use an app, or we all know that everyone has an app for everything and they just don't want any more. They can still print out or download the PDF that's on the website. So it's still on the Sculpt and the Crush PDP. And you can just use that. Again, another touch point that somebody can utilize. Pivot your conversation when you're having it. So if somebody's like, I don't want to download an app, that's stupid, I have too many on my phone. Oh, well, here's a PDF version. Let me just share it with you so you can go ahead and get on your health and wellness journey. So the meal library is another aspect where you can see it. And thank you, Tiger. That you can see basically everything that we have there, so you can go all breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner. These are just ways that you can really incorporate and maybe come up with some new ideas of things that you might want to eat or might be healthy, or, want to be more health conscious. And we have had some people reach out about, creating gluten-free recipes or gluten-free options. And I think really, from my standpoint, looking at that, I know what I can and can't have. And yes, there is a small subset of individuals that are gluten-free or have celiac disease. But I think it's best that when we're looking at this, that I would know, let's just say for the baked salmon, let's just say that those are breadcrumbs on top of it, which they're not. I would know to not use breadcrumbs and or use gluten-free breadcrumbs if I'm going to do that. So I really want to make sure that everyone is utilizing what their preference is from a meal standpoint, and making those interactions for yourself so that you know that if you're gluten-free, things with soy or bread, you would want to omit. Clay, do you have anything you want to add there?
Well, and it speaks to actually being active in your decision making, right?
Yes.
You get these outlines. Hold on, those salmon stuffed avocados look absolutely insane. Now, I might do those with some different than salmon, because that's, if you bake those, holy shnikes. Oh, this is where I get to dive into some of this stuff. But yeah, you're going to take your own preferences. You're going to take some of, this, and I will tell you, if you want the true Rahm way of doing um, any meal, because of her artistry, she applies this into everything that she does. You might take one of these recipes, and if you want to channel your inner Dr. Rahm, you're going to tweak these significantly, right? As Patrick was saying, if you don't like glyphosate because you haven't taken care of your gut, which means you haven't been using enough clean slate, and you haven't been using Restore, and you haven't been using Immune Defense Shield, and you haven't been using Give Me Back My Youth. God, wow, that sounds really familiar, to take care of yourself. But you're going to eliminate some of the sources of glyphosate, like Patrick was talking about, of, okay, if I'm eating bread, I'm not going to eat these things. And if you know your blood type, you're going to, in like, if I'm going to use my instance, I'm like, look, I'm going to look at the, some of the bread options and like, okay, I'm going to use a really good sourdough because I know that that's good for me. Like if I'm looking at a sandwich or something, or I'm going to tweak things to what I want and need. It's a guideline. It's not an absolute. So use some creativity for yourself. And I think that's when I look at this, that's one of the things that's, the most important is this is giving you options and giving you ideas. And then you can spin off of those. Because if you look at your meals for lunch, you have 6 different options, but you can take those 6 options and actually spin those 7 different ways, depending upon what you want to add to them or how you want to tweak them. And I think the importance of creativity, but having an outline. And, then if you look at this, for how you communicate with your friends, is you introduce this to someone, you can check in with them to see if they're using it. And after they're using it for a while and you get some feedback from them, you ask them, hey, have you thought about throwing relive greens in there? I'm not seeing any salads, but I mean, we can make the coolest salad dressing ever now with the greens and with the alcohol support cleanse and a little balsamic vinegar and a little really good oil. I mean, that's outstanding. Or if you use like white vinegar, but this is the guideline and you can play with it. That peanut butter smoothie looks good too. Man. The crazy part is the goodies are so good. Usually I can eat a ton, but I don't get hungry anymore because my body's functioning so clean. This is like one of my favorite pages. Look at all that Rahm roast and sculpt and crush.
So look for this to be built out and look for some additional products to be here that really integrate well, not only with the 30-day program, but the app.
Where's the Dr. Rahm pack? What are we doing on this thing?
It's coming.
Man.
So
Are you guys using Sculpt and Crush, by the way? Is this community using Sculpt and Crush yet? Guys, I'm telling you, as a former athlete, these are weapons of performance that you've never imagined. So if you're wanting an audience that you can have the greatest impact on, get in touch with people that are really investing in their health and performance and where their health and performance is of great value to them. This is your audience. That's the people that you really want. What you have in your hands to many people is worth millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in some instances. That's power. And you literally have those tools right in front of you right now. They're sitting on your screen. That's ridiculous.
yeah, if I get served another Wegovy ad, I swear.
I was thinking you could use that, because from what I hear, that creates the same environment you get when you eat wheat.
Seriously. So Tiger, you can go on. Thank you. And then the workout library is also just going to go through basically all aspects of the workout. We really wanted to tailor this, and I know Duquesne and Dylan worked extremely hard on structuring this. Dylan really took an incredible amount of time when developing a lot of the workouts to really meet everybody where they're at. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And that's what we really, outside of our core 4 foundational components of what Root was built upon, I think really the next phase of that is we meet individuals where they're at. And then I really want to showcase that is we know that not everybody is a Dylan, not everybody is a me, not everybody is a Clay.
Thank God for
that. Certain individuals have different aspects, right? Maybe working out for you is going on a 30-minute walk around the block and just getting some sunlight exposure, getting some exercise, and doing some walking meditations. Maybe somebody is like Dylan. Maybe somebody's like Clay and just likes to go and do Mandu.
15 minutes 3 times a year right now. There you go. And I go outside barefoot and throw the ball with my dog. That's pretty much my life. And I try to every once in a while do a push-up. But here's the key. Exactly. If you take one thing from this, people look at workouts and they have a negative connotation, like, oh my God, I had a bad experience. Well, here's the thing. We could actually change this language if we needed to. If you want the key, if you're starting to change your lifestyle, and if you're using any of the root goodies or many of the root goodies, here's the secret. It's one word: move.
Mm.
That's the key, is movement, right? And if you're walking through the house, through the day, and instead of, if you're going back to your bedroom, do some lunges instead of just taking your normal steps. Do squat down a couple times, work your legs, move. The more you incorporate just simple movements into your life, the better you're going to be, because you have to understand that if you're using the tools that you're now given, right? If you look at the products that you have access to, your body is starting to become more efficient. It's starting to function at a higher level than what you're accustomed to. So even doing these little things will pay you much higher dividends than they used to, because your body is working better. These are, and they're not difficult to do. So it's not like what you have to do, the downward dog for like 5-10 minutes. If you're watching TV or you're taking a break, just get on the floor and do a couple push-ups, do different movements, even just be static. And that's why yoga and Pilates are so amazing. And especially being an athlete, I can give you this one little diatribe real quick. I can remember I was a sprinter in college. I was 4% body fat. I was running 100 meters in 10.5 seconds. And I went home to visit my mom, and my mom had her Pilates tape on. This was in 2000, no, sorry, 1998 or 1999. And I went home to see my mom, and I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing Pilates. I'm like, what is this? She's like, you should try it. I'm like, I'm a great athlete. I got on the floor and did some of those exercises. I was squealing like a stuck pig.
Got humbled pretty quick, huh?
Oh, so quick. But Pilates done wrong is easy. Just know that. But it's the importance of just doing some movements and allowing your body to work. And this is where Sculpt and Crush are so crucial, of allowing your body to work even in little aspects is going to pay you huge dividends. So you don't have to go do a huge workout, right? Just be active. And the 20-minute walk, just go outside. If you can, be barefoot. Go for a 20-minute walk. That scientifically has been proven to be one of the most impactful things on your overall health. So just don't go walk behind cars and inhale all the fumes, but go get it some fresh air. You need to have that on there.
So the other aspect that I think is really interesting, that I love, and this is slowly growing, and this is probably the second iteration that we've used AI learning for our app and our systems. Actually, it's probably the third because of NowSight. So the first one was with Zendesk, which we've integrated AI. So AI learning and really utilizing a bot to chat with you to get you the best possible answers and help you answer your question. This is the same aspect as that. We've tried to integrate and learning aspects. So it is growing with the community. It is growing with your usage, the ability for it to answer appropriate questions. And one of the biggest things about this that I wanted to ensure was to make it go to, if you had a question or a problem with your account, another touch point for you to just contact customer support. This is the next version also that is going to be rolling out soon. Just better iterations of trying to integrate and create a direct message to our customer support team. So you'll notice that a lot of the Rahm Effect app iterations are going to be growing as you tailor your questions and ask it questions. So please understand that this is learning, and it's going to grow as you continue to use it and more customers use this aspect.
It's going to learn.
You can go ahead and keep moving forward.
Look at that. There's a QR code right there.
And so this will take you to a lander page that if you have an Android or an iPhone, you have the ability to download that. I know that we didn't really discuss this in the beginning, but a lot of people were putting messages in. This is translated, I believe, in 7 or 9 languages. I think it might be 7. You would just change that in the top right-hand corner so that you can get that in your language. We chose obviously the top countries to translate this in. And we really want to make sure that this is another tool for everyone to use. You guys can take this QR code and use it, but please know that when you're sending this to a potential customer, when you're sending this to somebody, you're going to have to handhold them if they're a brand new customer and they don't have an account with us. You're going to have to communicate with them so that they enter in your referral code and get registered. What I would probably recommend is to get them signed in on the website and then just tell them to use that login so that you can send them your deep link. So it's no questions asked. And then tell them to log in on the app and download that so that they can have access to it.
You might even take a little bit of time and shoot a little video of you doing this on your own TikTok or Instagram channel so you can show people what you're doing and how cool it is. But is it not amazing that if you invest a little bit of time into someone that it can pay you dividends for a long period? It's amazing. Oh.
So with that being said, I know we're over our time. We can take probably a quick question or two if anyone has any, but if not, we can continue with our day. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have any.
Amy's correct about chickpeas and garbanzo beans. They're loaded with glyphosate. They're 2 of the most toxic substances besides people on the market.
Big time.
Oh. So your hummus is not healthy for you. There's very little hummus. It's actually good for you. You know where the best hummus in the world is? Cyprus. They don't use glyphosate over there. God bless them. We love Cyprus. Villas are they're finishing right now. Let's go.
Amazing. Well, since nobody has any questions, we're going to go ahead and get this uploaded onto YouTube. Thank you very much for pivoting and joining us an hour earlier. We apologize.
No, I'm disappointed real quick because I see Ann and Roland, and I can only see half of Ann and all of Roland. There we go. Now I feel better. Yeah, now it's even better. No, Roland, go that way again. It's even better. There we go. But it's great to see some of you. Coach Pat, your hair is looking outstanding, by the way. It's growing in quite nicely. And Amy made the comment about stem cells. There's some stuff we're doing with stem cells that'll be brought here to Nashville here very quickly. And no, that is not from urine therapy. That's a joke. I would never do that. But there's a very, very unique Johns Hopkins trained savant doctor that figured out how to take your own blood and how to reactivate your own personal embryonic stem cells. So everything you ever thought of stem cell therapy is now obsolete. I can say that because I had it done and so did Dr. Rahm. And after 25 years of having a torn hamstring, it's better after a week. How you like them apples? So there's much fun to come to go along with what you can do in the Rootverse.
I'm next.
Yes, and I don't know if you're next because man, the line is getting pretty good, but it's going to be dope. Yeah, and this gives you guys. I'm going to speak honestly and openly because we get a lot of pushback at times for places that we've been to because people are ignorant. Make sure you heard what I just said. We get pushback from people making comments about the locations that we've traveled to because those people are ignorant. They're really stupid, honestly. I want you to understand that. Anybody that makes comments about us and where we're traveling and who we're meeting with that isn't next to us when we go is an absolute idiot. And I want all of you to make sure that you reiterate that if you hear it from anyone, because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And if you're not with me when we're there, you don't know why we're there. And I will tell you, there's a couple places that we've been. This stem cell innovation came to us through Christina's presentation and Todd's presentation at the Vatican. Now, some of you are going to go, oh my God, the Vatican. Here's what I'll tell you. Would you know that the entire system is changing from the inside out? No, you wouldn't, because you're not there. But you know who knows, and you know who's part of that change? It just so happens to be the woman that's got an app named after her. So if you bring light to darkness, guess what happens? It's called illumination. So anybody that makes a comment about, oh my God, you guys were at the World Economic Forum or you guys went to the Vatican, it's like, yeah, Jesus was there too. Think about that. The people that sit at home on a keyboard and want to make comments about stuff, probably not the best people to listen to as a reference of what's going on globally and what's going on spiritually in this world, because they don't have a freaking clue. Right? Like what you have in this app, what you have in these products, what you have in this community is, I'll say, intelligently designed. And if you lack the conviction to push back on ignorance, you have a little work to do. I will tell you, there's not anything that we do that is intended to do anything bad. There's a cross in the middle of our freaking logo with intent. The Trinity is the Trinity with intent. The Pope kissed my wife's hand when they met because he knows who's really the one in charge. Think about that. He's just an elected dude that they put in there. They know who she is. These are things that are important. And Duquesne's coming to tell me, he's like, your time is up. So there you go. Make sure you.
I have to always be the bad guy.
He's like, you're ranting.
But I
don't get root you
I
time.
have a clock.
I am the adjunct professor today.
We got an hour and
I'm
my
7
timer
minutes.
was flagged.
I got 7 minutes. So I want you guys to take all that with you and understand that when you hear or see this stuff, no facts. We're not joking. So take that with you. And now, by the way, there's an app for that. How dope is that? Where's my app? I go to sleep looking at it just so I can see my wife's name and my son's name next to me. Where's my Rahm Effect app? I don't even know where it is on my phone now. It should be right there.
Thank you, everyone, for today.
Let's go.
Close us out.
Konnichiwa.
There you go. Bye, everybody.